Welcome to our part 2. In continuation of series related to priority sector landing, wide RBI Master Directions dated 24th March 2025. In part 2, we shall dive into the categories under priority sector. These are agriculture, micro, small and medium enterprises, export credit, education, housing, social infrastructure, renewable energy, and others. The first category is agriculture. The lending to agriculture sector will include farm credit, agriculture and allied activities, lending for agriculture infrastructure and ancillary activities. We shall cover a few norms here, that are loans to small and marginal farmers for a purchase of land for agriculture purposes, loans against pledge hypothecation of agriculture produce including warehouse receipts for a period not exceeding 12 months subject to a limit up to rupees 90 lakhs against negotiable warehouse receipt or electronic negotiable warehouse receipts and up to rupees 60 lakh against warehouse receipts other than negotiable warehouse receipts or electronic negotiable warehouse receipt. Loans for a few activities subject to an aggregate limit of rupees 4 crore per borrowing entity will be eligible. They are crop loans to farmers, which will include traditional, non-traditional plantations and horticultures, and loans for allied activities. Medium and long-term loans for agriculture and allied activities. For example, purchase of agriculture implements, technological solutions, machinery, and development loans for allied activities. Loans for pre and post harvest activities, that are spraying, harvesting, grading, and transporting of their own farm produce. The next norm is loans up to rupees 4 crore against pledge hypothecation of agriculture produce including warehouse receipts for a period not exceeding 12 months against negotiable warehouse receipts or electronic negotiable warehouse receipts and up to rupees 2.5 crore against warehouse receipts other than negotiable warehouse receipts or electronic negotiable warehouse receipts. Loans up to rupees 10 crore per borrowing entity to FPOs, FPCs undertaking farming with assured marketing of their produce at a predetermined price. Loans up to rupees 10 crore for a purchase of the produce of members directly engaged in agriculture and allied activities. Next is agriculture infrastructure. Loans for agriculture infrastructure will be subject to an aggregate sanction limit of rupees 100 crore per borrower from the banking system. The next is ancillary services. The following shall be eligible to be classified in this category. Loans up to rupees 50 crores to the startups that are engaged in agriculture and allied services. Loans for food and agro processing up to an aggregate sanction limit of rupees 100 crore per borrower from the banking system. Eligible activities specified. Outstanding deposits under RIDF and other eligible funds with NABARD on account of priority sector shortfall. Now we shall see the eligibility criteria for categorization as lending to small and marginal farmers. Farmers with land holding of up to 1 hectare, marginal farmers. Farmers with a land holding of more than 1 hectare and up to 2 hectares, small farmers. Landless agricultural laborers, tenant farmers, oral lessees, and sharecroppers whose share of land holding is within the prescribed limit for small and marginal farmers. Self-help groups or joint liability groups, that is, groups of individuals, small and marginal farmers directly engaged in agriculture and allied activities, provided banks maintain disaggregated data of such loans. Loans up to rupees 2.5 lakhs to individuals solely engaged in allied activities without any accompanying land holding criteria. Loans to FPOs, FPCs of individual farmers and cooperatives of farmers directly engaged in agriculture and allied activities where the land holding share of small and marginal farmers is not less than 75% subject to loan limits prescribed in earlier related para. Now we shall see lending by banks to NBFCs and MFIs for own lending in agriculture. Bank credit extended to registered NBFC, MFI, and other MFI societies, trust, etc., which are the members of RBI recognized SRO for the sector for on lending to individuals and also to members of SHG and JLG will be eligible for categorization as priority sector advance under respective categories of agriculture. Bank credit to registered NBFCs other than MFI towards on lending for term lending component under agriculture will be eligible for PSL classification up to rupees 10 lakh per borrower. The next category under PSL is micro, small and medium enterprises. Loans up to 50 crore to startups that conform to the definition of MSME shall also be eligible to be classified under this category. For revised definition of MSMEs, please refer video on MSMEs already available on channel. Factoring transactions. With recourse, factoring transactions by banks which carry out the business of factoring departmentally wherever the assigner is a MSME or medium enterprise would be eligible for classification under MSME category on the reporting dates. Factoring transactions pertaining to MSMEs taking place through trade receivable discounting system shall also be eligible for classification under priority sector. Loans by banks to NBFC, MFI and other MFIs, societies, trust, etc., which are the members of RBI recognized SRO for the sector for on lending to the MSME sector, borrowers being individuals and members of SHGs, GLGs as per the conditions specified. Loans to registered NBFCs other than MFI for on lending to MSME up to rupees 20 lakhs per borrower as per conditions specified. Overdraft to Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana account holders as per limits and conditions prescribed. Outstanding deposits with SIDBI and Mudra Limited on account of priority sector shortfall. The next category is export credit. Incremental export credit other than that classified under agriculture and MSME shall be eligible for classification as priority sector lending over corresponding date of the preceding year up to 2% of ANBC or CEO BSC whichever is higher, subject to a sanction limit of up to rupees 50 crore per borrower. The next category is education. Loans to individuals for educational purposes including vocational courses not exceeding rupees 25 lakhs will be considered as eligible for priority sector classification. The next PSL category is housing. Bank loans to housing sector as per limits prescribed are eligible for priority sector classification. Loans to individuals for purchase, construction of a dwelling unit per family subject to following limit. Amount is specified in lakhs. Centers with population of 50 lakhs and above, loan limit is 50, maximum cost of dwelling unit is 63. Centers with population of 10 lakhs and above but below 50 lakhs, loan limit is 45, maximum cost of dwelling unit is 57. Centers with population below 10 lakhs, loan limit is 35, maximum cost of dwelling unit is 44. To be eligible the loan to satisfy both the criteria. Housing loan to banks own employees will not be eligible for classification under priority sector. Housing loans which are backed by long-term bonds shall not be classified under priority sector as they are exempted from the inclusion in ANBC. Loans for repairs to damaged dwelling units shall be eligible for priority sector classification subject to certain limits. Amount specified in lakhs. Centers with population of 50 lakhs and above, loan limit 15, maximum cost of dwelling unit is 63. Center with population of 10 lakhs and above but below 50 lakhs, loan limit 12, maximum cost of dwelling unit is 57. Centers with population of below 10 lakhs, loan limit 10, maximum cost of dwelling unit is 44. To be eligible, the loan to satisfy both the criteria. Bank loans to any governmental agency for construction of dwelling units or for slum clearance and rehabilitation of slum dwellers subject to dwelling units with carpet area of not more than 60 square meter. Bank loans for affordable housing projects using at least 50% of FAR FSI for dwelling units with carpet area of not more than 60 square meter. Outstanding deposits with NHB on account of priority sector shortfall. The next category is social infrastructure. Loans up to a limit of rupees 8 crore per borrower for setting up schools, drinking water facilities and sanitation facilities including construction, refurbishment of household toilets and water improvements at household levels, etc. Loans up to a limit of rupees 12 crore per borrower for building healthcare facilities in Tier 2 to Tier 6 centers. Loans other than RRBs, UCBs, and SFBs to MFIs extended for on lending to individuals and also to members of SHGs, JLGs for water and sanitation facilities subject to the laid down criteria. The next category is renewable energy. Bank loans up to a limit of rupees 35 crore to borrowers for renewable energy based power generators and for renewable energy based public utilities that are street lighting systems, remote village electrification, etc. will be eligible for priority sector classification. For individual households, the loan limit will be rupees 10 lakh per borrower. Others, the next category of priority sector. The following loans up to the prescribed limits are eligible for priority sector classification. Loans provided directly by banks to individuals and individual members of SHGs, JLGs satisfying the criteria as prescribed. Loans not exceeding rupees 2 lakhs provided by banks to SHG, JLG for activities other than agriculture or MSME, that is loans for meeting social needs, construction or repair of house, construction of toilets or any viable common activity shared by SHGs. Loans to distressed persons other than distressed farmers indebted to non-institutional lenders not exceeding rupees 1 lakh per borrower to prepay the debt to non-institutional lenders. Loan sanctioned to state sponsored organization for scheduled caste, scheduled tribes for the specific purpose of purchase and supply of inputs and or the marketing of the outputs of the beneficiaries of these organizations. Loans up to rupees 50 crores to startups that are engaged in activities other than agriculture or MSME. Weaker sections. Priority sector loans to the following borrowers will be considered as lending to weaker sections. Overlapping category. Small and marginal farmers, artisans, village and cottage industries where individual credit limits do not exceed rupees 2 lakhs. Beneficiary under government sponsored scheme such as National Rural Livelihood Mission, National Urban Livelihood Mission and Self-Employment Scheme for rehabilitation of manual scavengers. Scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, beneficiary of differential rate of interest scheme, self-help groups, joint liability groups, individuals and individual members of SHGs, JLGs satisfying criteria prescribed. Individual women beneficiaries up to rupees 2 lakh per borrower. Distressed farmers indebted to non-institutional lenders. Distressed persons other than farmers with loan amount not exceeding rupees 1 lakh per borrower to prepay their debt to non-institutional lenders. Persons with disabilities, transgenders, and minority communities. Overdraft availed by PMJTY account holders as per limits and conditions prescribed by Department of Financial Services, Ministry of Finance may be classified under loans to weaker sections. Thank you so much. Stay tuned for the next part.